Yes, good afternoon. Oh, I can hear an echo. Oh, who's got the echo? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is the Spurs review, and it's been a very good week for Tottenham Hotspur, depending on who you ask. I have got, look at this array of characters we've got. We've got some old timers, some new timers, and we've got some delusion on the chat. Look, top right, top left, I would say. And then we've got the sensible ones down the bottom in myself and Kate. And for any refereeing decisions, we've got Chris right up there in the middle, and he will keep order. Welcome. How are we? Yeah, the yellow card is out. How are we all? Is everyone happy today, other than the Arsenal comeback?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good, yeah.
All good.
Good energy. Good energy. That's what we like. Yes. Start as we mean to go on. Let's start, guys. Tottenham, we have had a good week. Beating West Ham, beating Villarreal, a point away at Brighton. Third in the table. Only one team has more points than us. We are, if I'm not wrong, let me just double check this. If I'm not wrong, only Liverpool have scored more goals than us. It's a good time to be at Tottenham Hotspur. Let me start with Kate. Good time to be at Tottenham, right? Good time to be a fan.
Yeah, really good. Yesterday, predicted a draw. Got told that I was disgraced and need to stand in the corner because I didn't predict a 3-0 win, unlike some people, not mentioning any names, Jim. But to go 2-0 down and then come back and get a draw when last year we was 2-0 up and lost 3-2 speaks enormous volumes about how far we've come. So, look, it would have been nice if Arsenal hadn't have got the equaliser today, but I enjoyed the game. It's nice to see Pep playing that type of football that he's criticised many teams for over the years. That they play against them, but no, it's night and day where Tottenham are at the minute to where we were last season under a certain other manager. So, not getting too carried away, unlike some people. But look,
I'm guessing that was Jim, not Chris. You were pointing at, right?
Yeah,
I'm guessing that was Jim. Yeah. Okay, cool. Is Jim? Have you got in your household, Kate? Have you got? Has Jim started the title challenge talk yet, or are we too early for that?
No. The quad is on.
Oh, we've started it. Okay,
it started. Yeah,
we started.
It started.
Okay.
It started literally after the first game. And so, look, I'm keeping my feet firmly on the ground. I love Thomas Frank's interview. I love the guy. I think he's such a personable guy. The way he addresses everyone in the room, eye contacts, just I can't speak highly enough of this guy. And yeah, nothing to moan about really here. I'm very happy.
We'll find something as the show goes on, Kate.
There are a couple of little things, but
good. I wouldn't want a full positive show. Can you imagine how bad that would be for YouTube viewers? Jim, let me come to you next. It's interesting, isn't it? Because during my live watch along, the number of Spurs fans that, you know, when we conceded the first, then the second, that, oh my God, Frank, he's too pragmatic and this guy's not going to work out. And he should be sacked and he's been schooled. It's all a bit crazy. I think he's been a breath of fresh air, hasn't he?
Same old shit, just another day, isn't it, with all that? I sat here watching it. It was 2-0 down. I wasn't worried at all. And I said to Kate I wasn't worried. And she said, well, you're never worried. But I just... I got faith in this manager, Savva, that when things are going wrong, that he'll put it right. I got faith in this guy. I said on one of our streams the other day, I wouldn't swap this man for anybody at the minute. I wouldn't. I just think he is the absolute right manager for our club. It's what our club needs, is this man, you know, from last season to this season, it's like chalk and cheese. I'm so happy with him. And I think that he will take us places.
Yeah. I mean, look, Chris, let me bring you in there. I know we kind of need someone to not like Thomas Frank, but it's very difficult to have that right now, right? He is personable, like Jim and Kate said. I want to listen to him, Chris, when he talks in interviews after the game. I want to listen. I want to read what he says. He's very honest about what he likes, what he doesn't like, what needs to be worked on. Is he the safe pair of hands, or is he the captain that this ship desperately needed after 4, 5, 6 years of kind of roller coaster?
I think it'd be a bit harsh to go on just a safe pair of hands.
No, I'm not saying. I just mean in general. Like, it's good that we've got a guy that is safe.
Yeah,
like he's
you've got confidence in him, haven't you? Which is what I think you mean by that. And for me, such a massive thing. We're still early in his reign, so it inevitably leads to some comparisons with the person who was in charge last season. But last season, quite often I'd watch the games and then listen to the interviews and think, I don't know what match you've just watched. Whereas at least Thomas Frank, I think, like you said, he's honest. And I love the fact when he was asked in the week and he was asked to reflect back on the Bournemouth game and he just said, yeah, I just got it wrong. That sort of stuff, as opposed to, no, we were outstanding. We're like, well, obviously we weren't. We were absolutely appalling. But he's just honest. And like Jim said, I've got every confidence that he's utilising everything. But I mean, we'll get into it in more detail. But my basic position at the moment, of course, I'm super happy. I'm not sure I'm quite reacting quite the way that maybe you and even Thomas Frank said it was our best performance of the season. I'm not convinced by that. But what I do see is that he's putting in place everything that I would want him to do early on, which is all the absolute basics of how we go about what we do and the repeatable stuff as well. We were talking on your show, Savva, on Friday about how we're going to score. And Sean was talking about set pieces and why it makes sense to start with things like that. And just our structure that he talks about a lot is because they are the things that are repeatable game in, game out, no matter who's playing. This is what we're going to do from throw-ins. This is what we're going to do from corners. And all of that kind of stuff, our structure gives me huge confidence going forward. What's missing are the bits that are not repeatable so easily. They're reliant on things like players getting to know each other and that little bit of off the cuff kind of special stardust. But it makes sense. That comes in time with familiarity, both with Thomas Frank's system and the way he wants us to play, and with each other within the squad. So I think we are massively lacking that right now. But I'm not worried about that because that's what I expected. And Thomas Frank has done everything that I think he could realistically have done in his power to this point to make us into a team that's properly competitive and isn't going to ship goal after goal because all of our players are playing in any old position on the field. So yeah, I'm hugely optimistic. Top marks for him so far. I'm trying to think of something. Of course, the Bournemouth game was poor, but that's going to happen early on, right?
Yeah, of course.
I can't think of anything fundamentally where I go, I'm really unhappy with that. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, let me ask you, Lubo, let me bring you in and try and create some controversy. Chris saying he doesn't believe it was our best performance. I can't disagree with Chris more. I think it absolutely was our best performance of the season. Where are you with that?
I thought City was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the whole performance from start to finish against Man City was just superb.
Mm-hmm.
We restricted them to hardly any chances to go up there, and their side's much better than Brighton. So for me, it was a clean sheet. We weren't making those silly errors that gave away 2 goals yesterday. So for me, listen, he probably looked at it. You know, we got a football team again, haven't we? Last 2 years have been a bit of a joke. The 3 or 4 years before then were very up and down, hit and miss. You know, Jose and Conte both had good periods, both had not so good periods. I mean, Conte took us from 9th to 4th and left us at 4th, which is pretty good with the team he had. Jose took us up, I think he took us top at one stage before United battered us. I remember that night at Old Trafford. But by and large, I haven't seen control and structure. I think organisation, players, everybody's pulling. You know, everyone's just giving 110%. They're all looking out for each other. And for me, I think it's superb. Brighton yesterday, really good performance. Gave away 2 silly goals. Apart from that, I mean, you look at the stats: 10 corners to 2, 523 passes to 307. There's 32 crosses to 8. I mean, the stats go on and on. We had 64% possession. We dominated that game, and I was disappointed afterwards. We were talking talking after the game, Johnny and I, and we were both disappointed that we didn't get the 3 points.
Yeah.
But we did get the 3 points at City, and we did keep it clean. And we did, we kept Haaland quiet. I mean, look what Haaland did to Arsenal's defence today. Yeah. And in terms of talking about Frank, all managers make mistakes. All of them cock up at some stage. What was Arteta doing, leaving leaving both Eze and Saka together on the bench first half? Difficult. Madueke has had a superb season and looked very good as well first half. If I'd have been him, I'd have been really pissed at getting dropped off at subbed at half time. Arteta made a rig there. I don't know what Pep was doing taking Haaland off. Haaland is a constant threat, and it just meant that without that threat, City just dropped deeper and deeper. Arsenal pushed on even more. For me, I'd have left Haaland on because he's a constant threat. You've got to have 2 defenders back there at all times. So all managers make mistakes, but for me, Frank, coming back to Thomas Frank, I think he's done a superb job so far. You looked at his tactics in Udine against PSG. How many teams would like to have got a 2-2 draw in 90 minutes last season with PSG? There weren't many, and that was the start. And it's gone from strength to strength. Bournemouth was a bad game. Team selection was poor. The team went out there. I think maybe there was a bit of complacency after the win against City. They weren't on it. But he's pulled it back after that. You go to West Ham, we won comfortably there. And yesterday was a good result in the end. 2-0 down. Last season with Ange, we would never have pulled back from 2 goals down. Never in a million years. But there was such a drive and a determination and tenacity from all the team that on another day, give it another year, when you see where you see what Frank will be doing, players he'll be buying, we win that game next year. I think we win it comfortably.
Well, look, isn't that the strange thing, though, guys? I won't pick on people now. I'll just throw questions out and we can all just chat. Isn't that the strange thing? I mean, we're a team that finished 17th. We were used to watching our team lose week in, week out. But people, I feel like, are being really, really impatient. And what I mean by that is you've got a new manager. So straight away, that's going to take a bit of time. We're going to have these games where for an hour we're great, for 30 minutes we're not. We're going to have these games like Bournemouth every now and then. But it seems to me now that there isn't an allowance for any error from Thomas Frank. It feels like everything this man does from game one is being so highly scrutinised. And whoever can start with this, I mean, when the team lineup was picked, everyone going mad about, oh my God, where's Mawani? And oh my God, Xavi Simons isn't starting. But he got the game plan right. I know we made a couple of mistakes, right? Which we'll talk about in more detail in a minute, but we dominated, right? He got the actual game plan right. So why are so many people, it almost seems so eager for Frank to mess up? I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like he's scrutinised so much.
Sam, can I make just one point in answer? Sure. We've gone from 17th, guys, and I know it's only 5 games, but everyone's played 5 games, and we're sitting 3rd in the table. So if people are impatient, seriously, what do they expect? Do they expect us to be winning all the games like Liverpool? And Liverpool dug out 4 last-minute winners. They could have quite easily been sitting on 7 points. So, what do people expect from here?
Just before somebody else comes in, I'm sorry, Alf. Listen, I love you, Alf, but this has got to be the most reactionary, worst foot. Listen, I have a go at Lubo every day on our WhatsApp group for his opinions. Pep is a bottom 5 manager, and you've said he's useless. I mean, wow. I know this isn't a Man City channel. I genuinely don't know. You Man City fans are so entitled. It is unreal. He won 4 league titles in a row. He gave you a treble. He has given you more trophies in 7 or 8 years than your entire club had in its history before that. And Pep is a bottom 5 manager. Wow. And I thought our fans were harsh. Anybody else? Not on Pep. Thomas Frank. Yeah, he's getting scrutinised way too much for me.
I think, Savva, we got to forget last season. It's done now. New manager. It's completely different. I think that the fans have got to forget last season. You know, there's nothing we can do about that now. Let's move on with this manager. And I think the Bournemouth game, you will not see 2 games like that in quick succession with this manager. I think he's too screwed.
Yeah, and I think there is some truth in the fact that the people that really wanted Ange Postecoglou to stay are going to jump on every little thing that goes wrong at Tottenham and say, if it was Ange, we would have won that game, or, you know, and that's pure fantasy because, as Lubo said, if we're 2-0 down under Ange, we probably end up losing 5-0. The meltdown, I mean, I went on Chris Cowling, not to name drop, after the Bournemouth game.
Oh, big time. Oh.
And last night,
channel than yours, Savva. All right, fair enough. All right.
And last night as well, after the Brighton game, and the meltdowns from Bournemouth were unbelievable in the chat. But you've got to remember, Bournemouth are a very good team, and so are Brighton. They're well organised, they're well drilled, they're established. Their managers got everyone doing what, you know, they all know what they've got to do. It's not like we've lost to some two-bob team. Every Premier League team can beat each other on their day. And I truly believe that. And I think the fact that Thomas Frank has got us playing a breed of football where we can watch it and you can see the organisation, you're comfortable knowing that the defence are strong. You've got Paulinho mopping up in midfield. You know, Vicario didn't have his greatest game yesterday, but I'm sure we're getting to that. But I think people, like Lubo said, everybody wants instant success and it's going to take time. I mean, Arteta's phase 6 and they still haven't really won anything. And we're like at the very start of phase 1. So I think everyone just needs to let this guy do what he's got to do. And hopefully the board will back him with quality rather than quantity every single window. And if they do, like I said, I agree with Jimbo. I think this guy can really take us places.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, we're there. It's like at the end of last season, right, I was Ange to come in this season. I thought he earned another season. But now Frank's here and I'm watching Frank. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. This guy is he is levels above Ange Postecoglou. And if people don't like me saying that, I'm sorry. But he is. It's different. They're different levels of managers.
Mate, all I would say to that is fair play, Jimbo, for at least holding your hands up and admitting it, right? Because so many people just double down and just refuse to go, you know what, maybe my opinion was wrong. But I don't think the stuff of criticising Frank at the moment, I don't think it's real life. It's YouTube life, right? It's just people, you know what it's like online. I'm sure I didn't go yesterday. I'm sure Lubo did. I can't imagine there's anyone actually went yesterday who's saying anything remotely negative about Thomas Frank.
No, I think everyone was saying good things. Can I just answer Ryan Gloria, who's got a Brighton crest, I think there. Ryan, you're obviously a Brighton fan. That must be tongue-in-cheek. Ange would have won that. 2 years ago when Ange went there, we should have been 7-0 down at half-time. They were 2 up. They hit the post 3 times and Vicario made 2 great saves, one-on-ones with Welbeck. And last year, we managed to throw away a 2-goal lead and lose 3-2. So big, massive improvement, really.
Last year was absolutely Ange Bull in a nutshell. I did go last season. And the first half, we were absolutely outstanding and we could have gone in 4-5 up. And then the moment they scored, and it was only, if I remember rightly, like 3 or 4 minutes in the second half.
48th minute.
You just knew, Lubo, instantly, didn't you? You could see it in the players that we're done. We're 2-1 up, but we are done unless something changes, and nothing changed.
Yeah, look, I mean, guys, let's break it down then. I mean, look, there was concern from, and I get the concern on team sheet. People going, oh my God, that's a horrific lineup, and oh my God. But when you actually looked at that lineup yesterday, other than Xavi Simons, right? Who didn't start that fans are really annoyed about? Like I thought that I've said the same thing. I don't think there's a lot to choose from. I know people think the window was amazing. I still think we've got quite a threadbare squad in terms of quality. Simons himself came out after the game yesterday and said that, he's getting used to to the pace of the league. Frank said that, he's only just come, not had a lot of training sessions. But I thought that the game plan, Kate, I'll come to you. I thought the game plan worked really well. We came out, we were on the front foot, we dominated. Yes, we were very poor in the final third. I think we can all agree that that is the area that Frank has identified we need to sort out. But I thought we took the game to them, and I thought we dominated, Kate, from the off in that game.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, their goal was completely against the run of play. I mean, I expected to see Sarr. I personally thought Sarr would start over Bentancur yesterday, but I'm not one to say he should have, because I don't know anything compared to what Thomas Frank knows. But yeah, look, I think he got the game spot on. At the end of the day, you've got to show him a level of respect because it's Brighton away. But we did take the game to them. We didn't look like we was in trouble. Their goal, I mean, I don't really know who to blame. Everybody was sort of out of position and the guy got through. But I think Vicario should have done better on both goals. I'm not laying into him because anyone who knows me knows I love him. I've got him behind me on the wall. And I think he gets a rough ride. But I do think...
I'll lay into him in a minute for you, Kate. Don't worry, I'll be the bad guy. I'll lay into him. I think he's bang average. But hey,
I do think he could have done better. He had very delayed reactions, I think, for both goals. But I don't see anything wrong. I mean, there wasn't a particularly a meltdown when the announcement come up of the team. There was a lot of people questioning where Kola Mawani was. And then, of course, it came out that he had a dead leg. And there was a lot of people questioning why Xavi Simons didn't start. But, of course, he came on and made a massive difference when he did. But I think you're always going to get people who think they know better than the coach. That's just football fans in general. So I don't think Frank did anything wrong yesterday, in my opinion, with the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, can I ask, was anyone, I mean, Kate's made a good point there. Like, well, I suppose it's a good point if you agree with her, right? About was Sarr going to play? And I guess that's the thing, guys and girls. We don't know from game to game who was going to play in midfield. Do you think, though, that after the Xavi Simons introduction yesterday into the 10, it was the first time we've seen him in the 10. Do you think that's going to put an end to this three central midfielders playing now, and we're going to see Xavi Simons playing in the middle, or do you think it's going to be really fluid from game to game with Frank?
I think it'll be fluid. I think he's shown the amount of changes that he's made tactically over 6 games now. I think it'll be fluid. The only selection that I was surprised about yesterday, purely from the fact that we conceded 1 goal only in 4 games, was that he didn't keep the back four together, and he brought Destiny in for Spence. But I thought, for me, Destiny was man of the match. I thought it was absolutely superb from start to finish. It really was. I thought some of his running, the timing of runs he was making, attacking wise, were excellent. He showed strength on the ball defensively. You know, I think there was one situation in the corner where he just muscled the guy out. The guy had a foot or two on him when he went past, and he made up the ground very quickly, very quick turn and go over 5. I thought it was superb. Thought it was absolutely superb. Simons, I think, will be there probably for most of the games. It's going to be interesting to see what he does going forwards. I'm not talking about Doncaster. Talking about league games as well. I would think next Saturday night he'll start with Simons in the 10, no doubt. What he does in Bodo Wednesday week, who knows? Tuesday week, it's going to be interesting because any of us can predict the team that he's going to pick, because there's going to be some changes.
Yeah. I mean, Jim, let me ask you then, because I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of having the 3 central midfielders start, because I think that it just means there's no creativity. And it's not saying that any of the 3 that play aren't good footballers, but it's just not their game. And I think that really showed, we talked about this off stage, right? It really showed. I thought Bergvall struggled for me in that 10 because I think it's not his game. But then when he went back to the 8, I thought he actually started to look comfortable. Do you agree with Lubo? Do you think it's going to be fluid, or should we just see Xavi Simons in the number 10 now and not go to the midfield 3 again?
Well, the thing is, Savva, he's got to make changes because we're going to have so many games. He can't just keep playing players. That's what happened last season, and look how many injuries we got. You know, this season we got a stronger backup, a stronger bench than last year. So he's going to make changes. It's just something we're going to have to accept. And if some players come in and their standard is a little bit lower, which it will be, then we have to accept that and get on with it. It's as simple as that. But you're right. I thought when Bergville went back, he was so much better in the second half. I thought he was fantastic. And Xavi in the 10, that is his place. You know, you saw that yesterday. What difference he made when he come on.
Yeah. Didn't it show, Jim, just before I go to Chris, didn't it show, for me, when I watch Xavi Simons, when I watch Kudus, it just shows the levels. For me, they're just the levels above the other attacking players in our squad, the Richarlisons, the Odegaards, the Tells, the Solankis. They're that next echelon of footballer, aren't they?
I think, right, this is what I believe, right? I believe at the moment we haven't got a choice. We've got to play these players because we haven't got better in. But I think over the next 2 windows, we'll see them go and we'll see better players come in. That's what I think is going to happen. You know, at the minute, we've got to play them. And I just believe January and the summer, we'll upgrade on them and we'll see them gone. I mean, look, yesterday, I try and stick up for the players. I really do. I'm not one for slagging them down. But Odegaard, I said to Kate, when Odegaard went off, I said I didn't even realise he was on the pitch, you know, and Richie just falls over for the sake of falling over.
We're going to get to Richie.
If he's not playing well, he just falls on the floor all the time. It's like, it drives me mad. But at the end of the day, that's what we've got at the minute. You know, let's see when Solanke comes back, if he can do any better. Yeah,
I'll tell you what's interesting, Chris. You can say whatever you want about stuff before, but I'll also just chuck on for you. I thought it was really interesting. I thought Odegaard, I said the other day, you were on the show with me. I said he looks like he's a good player, but he's not. He doesn't really do anything at the same time. Does that make sense? And equally, when he came off and Brennan Johnson went on, it was literally like I didn't realise Brennan Johnson was playing. We know that's a problem area, Chris. But I think Jim's right. And for Jim to be calling out these players, I know they can't be good because Jim is the most positive fan I know. So that we know they can't be that great, Chris. But Frank's making it work with what he's got.
Well, you can't magic up a player we don't have, right? So
yeah.
I'll link those two things together. I've no problem with Odegaard being given the odd opportunity, but you got to take them. I thought he did absolutely nothing whatsoever. I think I'm being slightly generous there, to be honest, to say he did nothing, which links into what you were just saying before. And the question was, does Simons' performance put an end to the idea that he might not play in the 10? I think if we had a decent balanced squad, the answer to that would be yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't. So he's got to somehow, make a silk purse out of a cow's ear a little bit on the left-hand side, which was why on Friday I was advocating for Johnson, not because I'm Johnson's biggest fan, just because you're picking between players who do the square sum of nothing. But at least Johnson has got some evidence to go. There is some output from me occasionally. I crop up and score. But the only other point I wanted to make really at this stage was back on what Lubo mentioned, Udogie. We talked about Udogie on Friday, and I was kind of slightly opposing the narrative that he's not as good defensively as Jed Spence, but he's brilliant going forward. I think the game completely backed me up. I thought he did the square root of bugger all going forward. Apart from one in the first half, he did an absolutely brilliant run and he got to the byline and cut it back. I can't knock him for that. It was absolutely brilliant. Aside from that, I was watching him super closely because of the debate we'd had. Didn't do anything going forward to me. I was amazed at how often he inverted rather than went on the outside, which puzzled me a little bit. But I think he just does exactly what I've said he does, which is gets into good positions, gets up the field, and then nothing ever happens. He can't cross properly, he loses the ball. However, defensively, I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I thought he was brilliant and covering for the others, and he was superb. And that first goal, just in case anyone wants to criticise Udogie for it, I've got no issue when you lose the ball on the left-hand side. I'm not even going to criticise Odegaard because wingers will lose the ball in wing positions, right? I would expect Udogie to be up supporting him somewhere and not miles back. So when the ball's just hoofed over the top, I don't expect it to be there. So I've got no issue with him at all. But I thought it kind of bore out what I said on Friday, that defensively, I don't think he's as poor as some people seem to make out. Like in those early days as well, when he was really good. Like I remember that when we drew at Arsenal and he got cautioned really early on, but then just shut Saka down completely. So I thought he had a really, really good game, but I'm not having that Udogie is this great guy going forward and is a million miles better than Jed Spence. I don't see almost any difference, to be honest. But I'm not trying to be negative. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was absolutely superb.
I love it. A bit of controversy. Go on, Lubo. Hit back at him.
Firstly, we got two very good left backs there, haven't we?
Yeah.
In fact, and for me, we've always thought Udogie's better because he's more of a wing back than a left back. But yesterday, I thought defensively he was terrific. I think he was superb in Bilbao as well. I think it was Ahmad was up against him, and he's tricky. Just drifting back to Odegaard, I think Odegaard lost the ball far too easily. That led to their first goal. Mm-hmm. But he was involved. He did make a contribution for Rich's goal. He made a good run, laid the ball across nicely. So for me, one balanced against the other. He is the best. He didn't do too much else. Pretty much, when Simmons came on, everything went through him and Kudus pretty much. But I think Odegaard at the moment is the best option on the left. Personally.
Where I am with the left wing is, this sounds like one of them things you just say for clickbait, but genuinely, if Werner was still in the squad, I think he offers you more on the left wing, which is not a lot, right? We're comparing real low, but at least Werner occasionally did.
I agree.
Something. Like these guys are just so depressed. I don't know how long we give it with Tell and Odegaard. It's all very well saying they're young and they've give them a chance, but there's got to come a point where you go, we can't carry on with this, right? And I'm not saying it's now, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know when that is, but when they're offering nothing, this is the problem. I don't mind kids coming in like Mikey Moore did, and he offered you 15 minutes and you go, okay, he's going to be really inconsistent. But I can see that there's something there. I suppose I can see it with Odegaard. There are little flashes, but actually his output is appalling. I really struggle to say it at all with Tell. But
do you think there's an argument? I'm playing devil's advocate because I don't rate any of them either, but none of them really have had a run of games to sort of settle into the squad and get into the system. And I know it's hard to give them a run of games when you're watching them because, I thought Odegaard was dreadful yesterday. But maybe if you see him after 4, 5, 6 games and he's linking up with other players, will we see some improvement? I mean, I don't know. We've got to do something because this is what we're lumbered with until January at the earliest. So,
but Kate, don't you think? For me, and again, it's a good point. I truly appreciate that point, but I also appreciate that. Are we going to get 5, 6 games with one of them on the left when they're not doing anything? For me, I said it before the game yesterday. I thought it was a real good chance for one of them on the left to go, right, hang on, no one's nailed down this position. I'm going to put in a really good performance here. I'm going to do... And listen, I've got nothing against Odegaard, by the way. It's not like I watch him and go, oh my God, you're atrocious. I just watch him and think, you were at Burnley for a reason. I just watch him and think, we went through this, didn't we, Chris, on Friday night? We went through Odegaard's output in the last 4 years across
it
youth
didn't take long, Savva, did it?
and there's nothing there. And listen, I don't think he's terrible, but what I will do is when you look at Kudus over here, right? Now, I'm not saying every player is going to be that good, but the drop-off shouldn't be from there on the right to down there on the left. Like, if there's a little drop-off, you go, okay, right? But the drop-off for me is like, we've got a top winger over there, and then over here, it's kind of like, yeah, what do we do? It's hit and hope. It's a bit of a punt. Hence why Lubo always tells me off for this. Hence why when everyone else was waxing lyrical about the window, Kate, I was livid. I was livid that we knew Sonny was going. We had all summer to buy a left winger. And listen, it's okay. Frank's made it work. But how different would we be going forward with a balanced top left winger? And we'd see more from Kudus as well, because we'd see less of Kudus, which means seeing more, if that makes sense, because he would have been doubled up on. But it's definitely a conundrum that Frank's got to solve, right, guys? He's got what he's got, and what's the lesser of all the evils? I don't know. Who is the lesser of the evils?
Well, I think.
Sorry, Chris.
I just think with Frank, right? He's gonna work with these players, and he's gonna know if they're good enough or not. And if they're not, he'll get rid of them. I'm convinced of that, and I think that in the next couple of windows we'll see a new left winger come in, because I do think they're not going to be the standard that we want and what he wants going forward. He wants to challenge for everything, and I don't think we're going to do that with these guys. And another one is Johnson. Look, I stuck up for Johnson last season not because he was great, a great footballer, because he kept us in games all the time with his goals, right? Yeah. And we needed someone to do that. But I watch Johnson when he brings Johnson on, and he's not a Frank player. He's not. I don't think he's going to last under this manager either. I think he's going to be another one gone.
His game time is diminishing.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably be out of the established players. He'll be the first one through the door, the door. I really do.
The rumours Ange wants him in there.
Yeah, and Ange picked him in front of Kudus. Yeah. I've got to say the other option that Frank has got is to play a 3-5-2 and play wing backs.
But the thing is, you now
push Kudus further in.
Yeah, but once you do that, we're now taking away from Kudus's game, right? And if you look, Lubo, how many corners do Spurs get every game now? Right? And most of those,
32
well, most of those are from Kudus working down the right hand side, and I agree with you. Look, I think he's going to make it work. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be difficult to see because the next game's Doncaster, so I expect a raft of changes. But a raft? That's not the word. A raft. What? I don't know where I got that from. A raft of changes. Shut up, Savva. Go back to school. But what I would do is I would leave Odegaard there for Doncaster, and then I would leave him there again for Wolves and say, right, you got 3 games in a row now. 2 of them are at home to Doncaster and at home to Wolves, who are bottom of the Premier League table and haven't won a game yet. Hopefully Dr. Tottenham doesn't arrive. Show us what you've got. Doncaster, go and terrorise whoever the right back is. I couldn't tell you. Whoever the right back is for Doncaster, terrorise them. Get an assist. Get a couple of goals. Get some confidence in. I just don't know if he's got it. I don't know if he has, guys. I'm not being horrible. People say he's young, but he's been playing top flight football for 4 years now. I don't know. I'm just not sure. Yeah.
Interesting comment, 813 from Daniel Ping. I'd rather Tynan Thompson on the left, natural winger, blood him in against Doncaster.
How old is Thompson?
17 or 18, I think.
So against Doncaster, people want to see Luca Williams-Barnett and Tynan Thompson. We're just going to put the kids out.
And Byfield, yeah.
And Byfield at the back. Yeah, he's 16, so he's ready. Yeah.
And then when we lose, people will go, he made too many changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Football's always judged in hindsight, isn't it? So, yeah.
It's gonna be interesting seeing Ajayi back at Spurs on Wednesday night.
Yes.
He's on loan there.
Yes.
Oh, can you imagine if he scores? There'll be a meltdown of like, oh, we should never have let him go, etc.
I know. Well, look, let's move on to look. We said the first goal. It was what it was. I thought it was very. It was weak from Odegaard for me. I think it was like the defender took candy from a baby, and it is what it is. The second goal though was, I think, a bit of a calamity from Bergvall and Vicario.
And Palhinha didn't close down the scorer at all. Didn't close him down. If you watched, I've watched it 3 times.
Sure.
Some pointed out, look how slow Palhinha is getting across. He's got a free shot, and Palhinha. Sure.
But if Bergvall doesn't pass the ball 5 yards to a Brighton player,
that's not poor.
I know you're trying to take it away from your man Vicario and your man Bergvall.
There were 3 at fault, Sam. There were 3 at fault.
Okay. I feel like that's really harsh on Paulinho. I feel Bergvall, first and foremost, I think if you are going to clear the ball from a right-back area, get some distance and height on it, right? Like, I don't mind if it goes to a Brighton player, but not one on the edge of the box. And then Vicario, Really suspect goalkeeping for me. But guys, I feel like you're not going to go a season without these mistakes. You know, as much as we say we want to cut these mistakes out, you're never going to go a whole season without mistakes. But 2 in 1 half is definitely something that Frank said in his interview, that we can't be doing that. You know, you can't be 2 mistakes down every game, right? But learning curve for those mistakes.
Yeah, I think
Bergvall for sure.
You're talking Bergvall. Bergvall lost the ball in midfield, then got it back, then gave it back again. So it was frustrating from that point of view as well. He worked hard, he got back, he won it back, and then the clearance was shocking.
I think that was harsh on Paulinho. I think Bergvall should never ever have put him in that position, and I took him a bit by surprise. But look, yeah, Bergvall messed up. The keeping was very suspect. It just seemed like he reacted way too late. But like you say, these mistakes are always going to happen. The best keepers in the world all make mistakes.
Yeah,
The best defenders in the world make mistakes. Let's hope they're not very often. I mean, I think Vicario's game has improved since we've tightened up our defence and since Paulinho's come in. But I am a Vicario fan. But I think he seems more confident on set pieces and catching the ball and punching the ball, and he clears the ball more than just rolls it out. But he does have clown moments. Let's hope they're the only ones he has this season.
I don't think they will be. I don't think so.
I'm not a Vicario fan at all, really. However, I can't go in on him too hard at the weekend because
let's put the Vicario fans together. 1 second. There we go. Let's put the Vicario fan club down the bottom. I don't know how Jim feels, but
he loves him too.
Oh, if he loves him too, hang on, Chris. Hang on. There we go. There we go.
It's so easy just to go, it was terrible by Vicario, and it was, but that kind of mistake from Vicario is actually really rare. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him for that. Happens, right? Keepers misjudge shots every now. What had happened basically is just as a shot came in, he put his weight on his right hand side, right? So he couldn't get to his left.
And the other thing also, Chris, he didn't even get a proper hand to it, which for me was poor. But the ball swerved at the last minute. So the problem was that because he'd gone right, he was in no position to pick up the swerve. And it did swerve.
Sure, but Vicario's looking back at that and going, I should save that 49 times out of 50, right? Yeah. So I think he has to accept it. And Frank said it as well, right? But it's just one of them things that type of error from Vicario is rare. So I don't think we should go in too much on him for that. I still think he's crap, but I should retract that. That's a bit harsh. I think he's average. Thanks, mate. Just make the most of the clip potential there.
When I generate my shorts later, there will be one that says Vicario's crap with your face. I regret that.
He's not crap, but he's not. Ultimately, if we want to get into the top 4 or 5, I don't think he's that standard for me.
I agree. I thoroughly agree with that. I think do you know, what's the word I use for him, Lubo?
I don't know. You use so many disrespectful words.
No, that's only when I'm talking to you on a daily basis. Decent is the word I've said about Vicario. I think he's, Chris, my sentence on Vicario is he's decent. No more, no less. Like, I don't hate him. I don't think he's great. I think we've had much better. I think we've had better in Paul Robinson, in Casey Keller, Neil Sullivan. I think Vicario's a limited goalkeeper. Good shot stopper. However, I just want to caveat and say that's their job. That's their job to be a good shot stopper.
Don't you think he looks better this year than he did last year so far?
Jim, can I tell you my problem with him? And sorry, it's not a problem. My concerns, my development areas for him, right? I don't think he commands his box at all. I think that when we see, if you watch today, you watch Donnarumma. Right now, I know it's difficult because we're talking about Donnarumma, who's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. When the ball comes into the box, Donnarumma, if he punches it, he goes through everyone and he's out. And the ball goes 30, 40 yards. I feel that when Vicario comes out, it's almost like a weak punch. I don't feel like he talks. I don't feel like he dominates his box. He's not bad. He's not a bad keeper. I don't know. He doesn't.
Fill you with confidence.
Yes, yeah. I don't feel when he's in the area, I don't ever think that's all right. Big Vic's got this corner or this free kick. I worry, and I know other people don't, but I do.
I do get that.
I just come back to what Jimbo said there. I don't think he's improved, but I think he's protected far more by a much better structure. So I don't think he's exposed as often, but I don't think that's the same as him improving for me.
I think that fans are just a bit harsh on players sometimes. I think that he's only just got here, Frank. You know, how many games we had under him? Not many, have we?
7.
Yeah.
Frank. What, competitive games? 6.
Yeah, 7.
I think we've got to give him time. They're working with him. They're working with him. I've seen it in their training.
I don't think a keeper at 28, 29, though, suddenly who can't command his box, suddenly commands his box. I just don't think that happens. I mean,
you can't. People and players change all the time. You know, Kate changed me from a fucking shithead to a nice guy. You know, so
well, that's still a matter of opinion. If you're a nice guy, Jim, maybe we don't all agree with that.
You're probably right. A lot of people probably don't. But you know, I think Frank can work with him and make him better. And if he doesn't, I am really of a firm opinion that anyone that don't do their job in this team won't last under Frank.
I agree with that.
I am so strong on that. I think if you don't pull your weight, that's why I see people like Tell, if he don't improve, Odebert, the keeper, Johnson, players like that. I don't think they're going to last a season with this guy. Look at the balloon sucker. Where's he now? We don't see nothing of him.
Basuma. I mean, look, I like Vic. However, I did say in the summer I would not be against the idea of having him as the backup keeper and getting. I mean, if you offered me a Martinez or a Vicario, I'm taking Martinez all day long.
Do I need to move you down to the row with Chris and I? Is that where we're going with this?
I do really like Vicario, but at the same time, I do get why people are concerned about him because he does do things. And like you say, when you compare how Donnarumma cleared that ball today, I mean, he is one of the best keepers in the world. You'd never, ever see Vicario do that. He sometimes looks really weak. Yeah. So as much as I do like him, I wouldn't be opposed to upgrading to somebody better.
Can I try and summarise that in one sentence? I think Donnarumma takes pressure off your defence. I think Vicario, when the balls are coming in, puts pressure on your defence, and that's not what you want from him.
Yeah, I saw him punch a ball when it went to the halfway line from his box, and I said to Kate, "Oh my God, that punch is just unreal." He punched the ball and he went to the halfway line. You know, not this game. The game before.
I mean, when we signed Vicario, the first words I said to Jim were, "This guy couldn't catch a cold," and I do think he has improved. But like I say, I personally wouldn't be against upgrading to a better keeper if there was one available. But I think
it's not a massive priority position right now, right? We've got much bigger fish to fry.
Exactly. Absolutely.
But
Chris, I'm not sitting here going, "Oh my God, get to January, get him out." I just think he's decent. I don't think he's going to be the reason bad things happen. I don't think he's the guy that takes you to the good things. I just think he's decent. The problem is, you know what it's like when you have an opinion. If it's not one way or the other, people think you're negative. I just think he's decent. That's, I've seen, I'm just going to put it out there, guys. I reckon I'm the youngest on this panel. I'm just putting it out there, right? So if I've seen, and the reason I say that, I know, sorry, Kate. I know. Maybe you, Kate. Maybe just you.
No, it's not me.
but it's definitely not Lubo or Jim. So no. It is me, right? It is me. And the reason I say that is we've all seen the same goalkeepers throughout the Spurs Premier League era and before that, right? And I'm not saying we've had loads of standouts. I mean, you could talk about, I think, Lloris for that 4 or 5 year period was a top class keeper. Other than that, I don't think we've ever really been blessed with too many top class. I think we've always had decent goalkeepers. You know, when I talk about Paul Robinson, Keller, Sullivan, I'm not going, "Oh my God, they're amazing." I think they are decent goalkeepers. But that's what I also put Vicario in the bracket of. Decent.
What about Eric the Viking?
I loved Eric the Viking, and Lubo keeps telling me he wasn't that good. I loved him. I loved Eric.
You guys missed the best keepers for me. Big Pat and Clemens were
Yeah,
because
but
we're not nearly
we're
900
young.
years old.
Jim, how good were those keepers?
You missed the other day, Lubo. We had Mika Alexic's son in the chat the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, do you remember him?
A good memory to remember Mika Alexic, by the way. But anyway,
he played in the '81 Cup final, didn't he?
He did indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, his son was it his son?
It was his son. Yeah.
So
bizarrely, I brought up Stafford Rangers because Mika Alexic played for them. So it's very, very random. But anyway, we love it when we get people related to Spurs players in the chat.
He was a good keeper. He was a decent, for a backup keeper. Alexi was very good.
Mm.
I can't say I've ever seen him play, but
Dude, I feel like I feel like we're getting to crazy levels here. Listen, I know you want to stick up for him. I'm seeing all your points, but it's mad, isn't it? Like Pope is shite. Pope's not shite, right? No one said Vicario is, by the way. But Pope isn't shite, right? Martinez is not worse than I'm sorry. I'm taking Emi Martinez over Vicario all day, every day, and a month for Sundays. I'm sorry. This is where I think you see the difference between reasoned conversation and bias, right? Whether you think Martinez is world class or on that level, fine, have the conversation. But to say he's worse by advanced metrics is utterly crazy for me.
You don't need advanced metrics. You just need to use your eyes, and you can see.
Eyes, how we all used to judge footballers. So look, moving on, we'll move on from Vicario there. By the way, I've got no problem. I'm not going to scream, get him out of our club. I just think that maybe somewhere down the line we will look for better. It is what it is. Look, anyway, after those two goals, I thought it was really important that we got something before half time. And we did. It wasn't the cleanest or prettiest of goals, but it doesn't matter. It went in. I'm not sure that I had the sound off because I do the watch-alongs and they were trying to rule it out for something VAR. Not sure what they were asking for, Brighton.
They were trying to rule it out for handball and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. But that goal was really important.
The only player who handled it was the keeper. I was baffled by it.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. But it was really important, guys, that we got that goal. And Richarlison, he did his very best to lose control of that ball, but he did manage to scramble it in over the line. I'm not a fan of his at all, by the way. But we got the goal, guys, and that was so important, right? Really important at that time in the game.
Pulled us back in, didn't it? You're going into half time, you're 2-1 down, you're back in a game deservedly. To have gone in 2 down, having dominated the first half would have been a joke, wouldn't it? You'd have been looking at it and just scratching your head. But listen, it laid the foundation. I thought Richie, although he's not the answer, and we know he's not the answer, I thought he had a decent game yesterday. You never get less than 100%. Yeah, I do.
This was only controversy.
He was better. He wasn't great, but he was
atrocious.
Last 2 games, he's been dreadful, but I thought it was better yesterday.
Talk me through this. Yeah, listen, look, I think everybody's face said the same thing. He is shocking. I think he's technically, guys, I think he's one of the worst strikers I've seen. Technical ability. I think he is, honestly, I would rather see one of us 5 up front. I think he is.
Let me put it in perspective, right? We do points for the players, right? I give a lot of 10s out, right? And he scored yesterday, and I would have given him a 5. And coming from me, that's not good.
That's like a 1.
I thought he was terrible yesterday.
But he was like 2 out of 10 the last 2 games. So for me,
he was like 1 out of 10 yesterday. It was shocking. He spent most of his time on the floor complaining that he'd been knocked over by an elbow or something. It was pathetic.
I must tell you something. We picked this up. My son and I were watching the highlights today, and we picked up, for their first goal, should have been a foul. Because I'm not sure which centre back it was, kneeling straight in the back, and he was down.
Stop deflecting. Richarlison was shit. I don't care if he was fouled. Stop deflecting. Can we talk about? I'll tell you what. Right, I was watching. I think I've watched about 5 games of football today, back to back. In the Sky Sports studio, they were showing before the Sunderland game. They were showing some of Sunderland's goals last time they were in the Prem, and they were showing Defoe. And they showed this one clip of Defoe's got 2 defenders around him, shuffles it left, bang, and puts it through. That there's like that much of a gap, goal. And I turned around to my uncle who I was watching the game with, and I went, can you ever imagine Richarlison doing that? And that's what he had yesterday. He shuffled it out his feet. And at no point, you know the shot I'm talking about, guys, that went into the side netting. And at no point did any of me go, this is going in the bottom corner. Because he is, I am baffled that anybody rates this man more than, I wouldn't pay 5 million for him. I think he is, I'll say it, he is shit. I'm not even going to be polite. He is shite. Complete, utter shite. There you go. Said it. Do your worst. Call me negative. I don't care.
Go on, Lubo. I want to.
I'm going to wipe all my ears are burning. I don't know why.
I want Lubo to tell us how he had a good game, please, Lubo.
Yeah, I need to know.
I haven't had a better game. For me, it was better.
You know what that reminds me of? I'm going to call it the Sissoko syndrome. When Sissoko joined us, he looked like he'd won a competition in the first season, right? He's one of the worst footballers I've ever seen. The second season, he went from absolutely abysmal to just moderately shit. But our fans then were like, oh my God, he's amazing. He's not amazing. He's just not quite as bad as he was last season. And
Newcastle were delighted to get the money.
Mate, I knew a Newcastle fan. He was laughing when we signed him. They were booing him.
You don't think Everton were delighted to get the money for Richarlison? I need this explained to me, right? What did he do yesterday? I know he fell over and put one in the back of the net. Even then, did you see when the ball came into him, it bounced off him about 7 yards and he had to scramble to put it in the net? But what he was, anything that went into him, he falls over. Anything that goes into him bounces off of him. And do you remember, guys, where people would go, I tell you what, at least Richarlison's good in the air. Every cross that came in from Kudus that was good, the centre-backs were unopposed. He wasn't even in there winning headers, or I don't know what he does. I genuinely don't know what this guy does.
I said on Mr. Cowling's show that he was jogging about. He didn't even have the work ethic that everybody says.
Cowling now, is it?
That everyone says, oh, at least he works hard. But then someone said to me he got injured in the warm-up. I don't know if that's true. Someone told me he got injured in the warm-up. And I said, well, he shouldn't have been playing then. Because, I mean, he was... I can't... I'm lost for words, which never happens. But the fact that Lubo, you've just sat there and said you thought he had an all right game, I'm baffled.
Well, I thought he had a better game than the last 2 weeks. I thought, and he scored. So,
yeah, but I could have scored that. To be fair, he nearly missed.
By the way, Kate, I won't tell Savva that you said that you were doing him a big favour coming on tonight after being with Mr. Cowling.
Just bonkers! Wow.
The thing is, look, any Spurs fan, right, that loves this club and wants us to win things has to realise that if we keep him as the striker, it's going to be our, it's going to be our.
I don't want he's going to be the striker, isn't he?
I don't want to see him down all night, but he's just not the standard that we need if we're going to move on like we want to move on under Frank and win stuff. He's not the standard. You need a higher standard than Richie.
I don't think he's Premier League standard. I don't think any team in the Premier League looks at Richarlison and goes, oh, yeah, he's a good striker. He could do a job for us. I think he's dreadful.
Is it the fact that every now and then he gets a worldie? Like every now and then, like the Burnley game. And then everyone goes, oh, my God. Like, Lubo, I think you were in the WhatsApp group with me. There was a WhatsApp group, and I remember I'm not sitting there every day going, God, this guy is awful. And he scores a couple of really good goals against Burnley, and suddenly I get Savva in the mud. Look how good he is. If this guy plays every game this season, and I'm literally so baffled by people's understanding of what a good footballer looks like anymore, because he can't do the basics. Like he can't do the basics. And I've never seen a guy that big constantly go to the ground. Like when he's not touched.
So would you have Solanke in front of Richarlison?
Yeah, and I don't even rate him. Yeah.
1,000,000%.
I don't even rate Solanke. This is what I mean. He's got me thinking Solanke is Haaland. Like, that's how bad he is. I'm like, please come back, Big Dom. And I don't even think Big Dom's that good. So,
but at least he holds the ball up better, and he doesn't fall over every 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know what to say. Lubo's rendered me speechless.
I did warn you. I did say we know he's not the answer, but I thought he had a better game yesterday. The last two, he was dreadful.
I think he's just been crap all season, other than Burnley, to be honest.
The last few
seasons, he was decent against PSG.
Decent at what? Like working hard. There's no quality, is there?
Listen, you got to put the player's performance in context of the game itself. And I thought, the PSG was about working hard. He battled hard. It's at the end of the day, we haven't got anybody else until Moani gets fit. We've got no one else. Solanke's still injured. So, for me, you've got to hope
I'm at the point where
he does something.
Scarlett was on the bench, and I think he's terrible, but I was hoping he was going to come on.
That's exactly what I said. I'd rather watch Scarlett give it a go than watch Richarlison fall on the floor every 2 minutes.
By the way, can I just answer Scott Amos? Firstly, Scott, he seems
hang on. I'll tell you what. Before you always do this, give me a chance to bring the comment up so we all know what you're talking about. And what time is it?
8:40, I think.
What time was it from Scott? 8:40.
8:40. Let me bring it up so that all of us can enjoy with context. This.
Yeah. Gray came on in the 89th minute. Hang on. I feel like I've got to answer Scott, because Scott obviously thinks I look very good, considering he thinks I'm 113 years old. So that was a previous comment that he put. Was I born in 1912 because I saw Pat Jennings? No, I wasn't. But if you have a look, Frank made a point. Gray made a blind pass straight to Kudus when Kudus hit the side netting in the last minute, and then he came on in the 89th minute. So did I think, what do you have, a 4-minute cameo? And
is this where we're at now? Is this where we're at, that to judge players and keep up this dying of a hill for a player?
No, listen,
a pass. Shocker. Premier League footballer made a pass when he came on the pitch.
I'm just repeating what Thomas Frank said. That's what Frank said.
Can you think of the other player we've had recently in the last few years who was infamous when they did a blind pass? It was Emerson Royale, wasn't it?
Scott asked the question, did Gray have a good game?
I mean, he was on for 4
minutes. He gave one good pass. Listen, Frank made the comment, not me. There you go.
Yeah, but he's always, he praised Richie as well. He's not going to go in and go, nah, my players are shit, is he? I mean...
No, but he doesn't have to mention players, Chris. You don't have to wax lyrical.
Yeah, but it's good man management, isn't it? You've got to build up their confidence.
But this is like, when I've got people telling me, like, when Frank's asked about players like Matisse Tell, if he turns around and says, well, look, there's development areas and I like him, fans go, there you go, he's part of the problem. So hang on. What do people think the answer to that question from our football manager is going to be? No, I don't want Tell. Nah, I'll be honest, I didn't want to sign him. I don't want him. He's crap. Can you imagine? Like, I don't know what fans expect is going to happen in the media. Anyway, let's move on. So we went into half-time. In my watch-along, about 1,000 people watching. I know it's not quite the standards of Mr. Cowling that Kate's used to, but about 1,000 people watching, and everyone lost their mind that there were no changes at half-time. Like, everyone lost their mind. But when he did make the change, guys and girls, we did come out the second half brilliantly. We did dominate them from start to finish in that second half. And when he did make the change, I want to talk about a positive now. Xavi Simons came on and really, really showed, what all of the hoo-ha and fuss is about. I know he fluffed his lines in front of goal, but what a good cameo that was, right?
Yeah. He's going to be an absolute superstar. The whole attacking intent that he came on with. He's got a little bit of swag about him, which I like. It just completely changed the game. Like you say, he's probably kicking himself because he could have had 2 goals, but that will come. But you know, I know everyone was very disappointed about Eze, and rightly so, because Eze was the number 1 player that I wanted. But I think we have got ourselves a real good player in Xavi. And like you say, when you look at Xavi Simons, when you look at Kudus, you realise how many levels above they are from the likes of Odebert, Johnson, and even Richarlison. Because, you know, if the front line is poor, and if we can get players over the next 2 windows of a similar standard on the other wing and up front, we will be dangerous, because our defence looks solid. The midfield's looking really good. It's just that front area. So, but yeah, Simons was excellent. He's going to be a real jump out your seater. You can see it straight away.
That shot, that run of shot, we were right behind you. It was just heading in just inside the post. And I don't know how the keeper got down and made that save. It was superb. Wasn't it?
I was going to say, Savva, right? This is the thing. Over the last few years, right, we've been fed players that are not to the standard of what you and people like me and Lubo can remember of Spurs, right? We've been fed players that are below the standard we're used to, right? And now we've bought Kudus, we've got Paulinho, we've got Simons.
Simons.
You start to realise that some of the players that we were sticking up for last season shouldn't be here. And that's where I was sticking up for players last season. But this season I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh my God, if we get rid of him and bring in someone of a higher standard like Simons or Kudus, you know, we're going to go that next level. And I think it's the shit we've been fed over the last few seasons, you know, that we can see that it's starting to change a bit now with Frankie and the players they bought in the last window. So I'm expecting, as a real positive supporter as well, who stuck up for these players in the past, them to be going and a bigger standard to come in.
Jim, would you agree? We've been blessed with some great strikers and forwards over the years, haven't we?
Look,
what we've got now, I think, is the worst since Andy Booth and Gregor Raziak. I really do.
I mean, I look back at some of the teams that we've had. Me and Kate talk about it. Some of the teams I've seen would kill this team, you know, and it's just. But you just have to move with the times. It is what it is. You know, I support Spurs, so I get behind the players. If they're shit or not, I still stick up for them. But this season's kind of opened my eyes a little bit with the players that have come in that are a higher standard. I mean, look, for me, one of the best buys this season for me is Paulinho. I mean, we've been screaming out for a player like this for years, and he's brought him in, and you can see the difference he's made. And now I want people that we've been talking about. I don't want to mention names. I feel horrible doing it, but some of these players to go and a higher standard to come in, and then I think we will be challenging on every front.
Yeah. I think you're spot on. Look, if we can get, I think any club that wants to be successful, you've got to have somebody in that forward area. And if you look at Man City winning league titles, right? You've got the likes of Erling Haaland. You know, you had De Bruyne supporting him, and you had Mahrez and yada yada yada. Yeah, exactly. You look at Liverpool, and they've had players like Sadio Mane as their winning titles. They've had Jota, rest in peace, Mane, Firmino, Salah. You know, they've now got in people like Isak and Ekatike. When you know, I could go through all the clubs, but I won't.
We've had that in the years, Savva. We've had it in the past. Clive Allen, Lineker, what's his name, Sheringham, Ferdinand. Yeah, you know, we've had that in the past.
I can't let that go without putting Klinsmann in. He's like my favourite player of all time.
Over the last few years, right, we've not had that. We've not had them players in, and that's the standard we've got to look at now to bring in to build on what we've got.
Let's not forget we did have Harry.
Yeah, Yeah, but look, okay, if they'd have built the team around Harry years ago, we'd probably be sitting here with a Premier League title now. But they didn't do it.
And don't you think the difference is, though, when we use Kane as an example, I think we need to caveat because, again, Kane is one that we bought through. I can't remember the last time we signed who's the last top striker we signed? There you go. There's a great question from me. Who's the last top striker we signed?
Do you call Sonny a top striker?
I think Sonny's a wide player, but
Berbatov?
I mean, out and out centre forward.
Would you call Berbatov that then?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, Berbatov is a great example.
Keane.
Right? Defoe, Berbatov.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie Keane.
Defoe, Keane. But how many years are we going back for that? I mean, those three are all now sitting in studios doing punditry.
Yeah.
Right? Dimitar Berbatov, although he looks like he's still 20, I don't know if you saw him the other day.
He does. He's lovely.
He must be, he must be what, 45, maybe? He must
Great
be,
age. Great age.
Right? Great age, 45. Yeah, good age. But this is my point. If you actually look, it's a bloody good job we did have Harry Kane coming through the youth team because we have not signed a top striker since those players.
Yeah.
And that's a true worry for me. If you look in the last 3 years, we spent nearly Lubo will give you the exact number down to the decimal point and the penny. I think it was like 110 million between Richarlison and Solanke. And you think 105. There you go, 105 million for those two, right? Just think, decent scouting for 105 million. We should have a top striker at this football club, right? Yeah. So I do feel like this is something. That needs to be addressed, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed to get the best out of people like Kudus and like Xavi Simons, because we all sit here and talk about. We need a left winger, and if a left winger comes in, and they're all going to be creating at the moment, who are they creating for?
Can I just mention a name? I just want to see the reaction to see a more recent name. Was this a top striker or not? Because I think he was. Adebayor. Now,
an enigma, right?
I liked him.
Great.
But as soon as he signed
in the world.
Yeah, he's a lazy bastard. As soon as
you turned up and you weren't sure which Adebayor you were going to get, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
He could be brilliant, or he could be non-existent. And he didn't
though for me.
He didn't say.
When we're calling him lazy, I saw him score a goal and then run the whole length of the pitch to celebrate in front of fans. That wasn't lazy, was it? He suddenly found his excitement, but. It's a good point, but those days of the Defoes, of the Berbatovs, the Keanes, it feels now that we don't do it. I mean, we can go back if we want to go back towards Sheringham. I mean, don't forget, guys, we signed Teddy Sheringham in 1993.
92. It was the first year of the Premier League.
He scored for Forest. He scored the first goal,
and he joined us the next week.
Was it the following week?
Teddy Sheringham.
91, I think.
Promise you, mate. August 92. I'll put
that was 92. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He signed for Tottenham in August 92.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you go. To Mario, Canute's not a bad shout as well. He wasn't a bad player either.
Fede Cartute.
Yeah.
That was when was that the start when West Ham became our finger club. Was it Canute? We got Defoe, we got Carrick.
Gosh. Yeah, look, listen, players like that, players like Sheringham, I mean, we haven't signed those sorts of players. And I think what is criminal is we've now lost Son and Kane, the striker and the left-sided player in the last 3 years. Between the two of them, 2 years, those two have gone. And we haven't replaced either of them. That's the true worry for me, is that we haven't got it right up front. I know people will say Solanke's. I think he's okay. He's another one. He's decent. I'll put it in that bracket again. He's decent, but he's not a top class forward.
Good to see what he does with Kudus there now, and with Simons. And if we get a left winger, it'd be interesting to see how he does.
No, absolutely, Jim. But you know what I mean. I mean, in terms of Solanke's what a goal that is, by the way, by Barcelona. Solanke's he's 28. I think he's 28 this month. I don't know if he's already turned 28, but just 28 and had one good year in his career, right, Jim? I mean, in terms of the boys we were talking about earlier, they had loads of great years by the age of 28. I just feel we've got to. I'm not asking for a Harry Kane. I'd love one, but they don't grow on trees. But just somebody. Jim, how I've summed it up, right? I just want a striker that when they get the ball 25, 30 yards from goal, a little bit of me gets excited. A little bit of me thinks you're going to shuffle this out your feet. You're going to get a shot away and work the keeper. At the moment, the two strikers we have, they're not instinctive. They're not create for yourself type forwards, are they? They do some good things in the box, in the air. Every now and then they get a good goal, but I've never seen one of them. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I've never seen one of them self-create, if that makes sense. Get a yard of space, take on the centre half and whip one in from 20 yards. I don't see that in these guys. But
do you think we're going to get something out of Moani?
Possibly.
I'm interested because I don't know nothing about him, to tell you the truth. But I'm interested to see him play for us up front.
By the way, Solanke was 28 last week. Berbatov's 44.
And I'd still have Berbatov.
Right? I'm not going to say what I'd do to Berbatov, but yeah, he looks great for it.
I just remember that goal. I remember that goal in front of us at Charlton. That Berbatov.
Yeah, but now we're talking about, when you're talking about the Kanes and the Berbatovs, we're talking about that echelon of, we don't sign that, right? We got Berbatov when he was not unknown, but relatively unknown. And then 2 years at Spurs, and then at the time, Man U, the biggest club in the world, went, we fancy a bit of that. Now we don't sign players like that. So I think the scouting network are going to have their work cut out for them. But anyway, let's move on to the goal. The equaliser, I mean, it was coming, wasn't it? For 10, 15, 20 minutes before, it was coming, right, guys? And then it came through Simmons driving with the ball, cutting inside, laying it off to Kudus. Kudus whips it over, and it goes in off of Van Hayk. But that goal was coming, wasn't it? I don't think I'm being biased there. It was definitely coming.
Was it, though? I mean, we were dominating.
Yeah.
I just didn't think we created anything. Really, and that's exactly what I thought. So Friday, I said I was worried about us scoring, and I look back on the game and think we didn't actually. And this is why I said for me, it's not the best performance. I thought we did the basics really well, but we created bugger all and got a fortunate goal and an own goal, and then we made at least one, but arguably two defensive mistakes, which is why I put the Man City game higher. But yeah, I understand your point, but I wasn't convinced we'd score because I just didn't see where it was.
Well, Simmons had a volley over the bar. So. He had one tip round the post. He fluffed one.
No, true. True. Fair enough. If it wasn't from him, I didn't know who was going to score for us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyone else? Yeah. Did we deserve it? Is another way I'd put it. Did we deserve it?
We deserved it. Yeah.
Well, I thought we deserved to win. I thought we deserved to win. And I was sitting, I was never worried. We was 2-0 down. I still thought we'd get something out of the game. Because we was the better team through the whole game. You know, they had a few spells, but I just thought we did look a lot better than them.
Yeah.
But I'm still worried about the front. We do need a striker. So I'm hoping in January, which will be hard, that they set someone up to come in, because I think that's where we're really lacking a top striker.
I really struggle to say we deserve to win. I think when you make the defensive mistakes that we did, and you actually look, stats don't tell you everything, right? But they actually had more shots and more shots on target than we did.
Chris,
so I think we were the better team, but we lacked quality.
There's only one shot more on target.
Yeah,
it's
but
not like they had 10 to our 2.
But we were saying that we were that dominant that we deserve to win, but they actually had more shots and more.
I don't think I never felt like they were going to beat us. Even
I agree.
Even at 2-0 down, I thought we would get something out of the game. Sorry, Lubo.
We had 44 touches in their box to their 17. We had 10 corners to their 2. We had 33 crosses to their 8. We made 523 passes to 307. In the final third of the pitch, we made 143 successful passes against their 15.
That was backing up what I'm saying. And all of that, we had
dominated. I mean, we dominated that game.
And created overall, really, for it. That's my whole point. We dominated it, but we weren't banging on the door, hitting the post, the keeper making worldies every 2 minutes. That wasn't happening. We had a lack of quality in the final third, and that's what we need to improve on going forward.
Well, I think we know that. I think the place just went mental, actually.
By the way,
Van Heck, it was.
They had a higher XG than us, by the way.
Oh, I don't believe in all that cobblers. XG. Who's ever heard of it? Any such thing? It's ridiculous. You go by your eyes, and by your eyes, we were a better team. That's it.
And to show you how far we've come in a short space of time, Brighton beat City 2 weeks ago, didn't they?
Yeah, that's one game, isn't it? I mean, anyone can beat anyone on any given day, right?
Yeah. Look, I just think that. Okay, were we knocking down the door? Were we, for goals? No, but I just felt that our overall play, the areas that we got into, the number of corners we were getting, crosses into the box. Xavi Simons had a couple of chances. I just felt like it was coming. I think Kudus had one saved as well, if I remember. I just felt like it was in that second half. If we had lost this game, I feel like it would have been so unjust. But then it was almost like when we scored the goal, it woke them up, didn't it, for the last however many minutes it was. And then it was very much, okay, now it's a good point. But, guys, I guess the point I want to get to here is I want to show you this. Look, and look, hang on, let me just double check that I've got Arsenal's City game in there. Yeah, I have. Yeah. I mean, look, when you look at this, guys and girls, there's so many people unhappy and worried. But when I look at this, if you had offered me this on May the 31st or whatever it was last year, and you had said to me, right, next season, you're going to get a brand new manager that isn't Ange, I would have celebrated. You're going to change all your backroom staff. Daniel Levy's going to be gone. You got a brand new medical team. You're bringing in players like Kudus, Paulinho, Xavi Simons, Mawani, and you're going to start by drawing 2-2 with PSG in the Super Cup, winning your first Champions League game and only losing one of your first 5 league games, and played 3 of those 5 games away from home and not lost one of them. I mean, you'd bite my hand off if I offered you that, wouldn't you?
I think it's a great start. Super, considering this is just the start of his journey, and he's had to pick up a team that forgot how to win last season. We got 5 points from the last 12 league games, 5 out of 36, and we've got 10 out of the first 15. I mean, different world, different world. And funny enough, and look where Mr. Post, look where Ange finds himself at the moment. Just keep scrolling down. So Forest aren't even on this chart.
He has only had 1 game there in the league.
He's had 2, but it's
in the league. He's had 2, has he?
He's had 2. They're not getting much higher. Let me tell you, Jim.
I agree, but it will take more than 10 games until the Ange lovers stop throwing it back, right? Because when you say we've not seen anything like it, well, we have, because Ange started very well as well. So I totally agree with you, by the way. You know what these Ange obsessives are like. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's not here. Got to move on.
Yeah, I agree. But Jim, my point about this wasn't about Ange. This was about look where we are now. By the way, listen, I'm never one. I don't take the table too seriously because, look, we are 3 points above teams like Man United, right? Who have been like everyone's going, oh my God, Ruben Amorim needs to be sacked, and we're sitting 3 points above them. So I think at this stage, you take it with a pinch of salt. However, the fact that the only team above us in terms of point-wise is the champions of the country, who have just spent, by the way, nearly £500 million in one window. And the only team that has scored more than us is, for all these people going, we're horrible going forward, we're terrible, we don't create. There's only one team in the league that have scored more goals than us.
When Liverpool played Savva, they said, the commentator said, they had 250 million of their new signings sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Savva, the point on creativity, though, isn't about games against Burnley and West Ham, is it? It's in tight games when you really need that level of skill and trickery and stuff. And that's where we're lacking at the moment.
Chris,
mate, I don't, by the way, Chris, me saying that doesn't mean I think we've been free-flowing, a free-flowing creative force. But listen, if we think we've got problems, I mean, then some of those other clubs below us must have a lot bigger problems. And the best thing about this, I want to move on, guys, just for the last half an hour of the show. I want to move on because we've got Doncaster in the Cup we're going to talk about, and that's Wednesday night. And then we've got Wolves at home in an 8 p.m. Saturday. Not sure how I feel about that, but that's a different story. Doncaster at home and Wolves at home, who almost solidify what's been a brilliant start. Now, this is the game for me that's really important, the Wolves game. I'll talk about that before Doncaster. This is the game that's really important because I think that's the sort of game you win that, you start pulling away from a lot of those teams and you start solidifying yourself up there. You lose that and all of your good work and momentum kind of comes tumbling down, doesn't it? In years gone by, this would be a banana skin massively. Bottom of the league. I think if I'm not wrong, they've played 5, lost 5.
Yeah.
Conceded 12, only scored 3. Surely Dr. Tottenham's gone, right? We're not worried for Wolves. Are we all in agreement that this should be 3 points? It should be a professional performance, or it's the Premier League and it's not that simple. Where are we at with Saturdays?
Yeah, Tottenham.
Jim, you're muted, babe.
Oh, you're muted.
I'm fully expecting a win. 4-0, 5-0, definitely.
5-0.
At home, yeah. The way they're playing, we should be absolutely walking all over them. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. We should be. If we win 1-0 or 2-0, I'll be happy. But I cannot see us losing this game in any way whatsoever.
What did you say before the Bournemouth game, Jim? I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, look, I know Bournemouth. I did say we'd win. What did I say? 3-0, Kate? But
You always say 3-0, darling.
I like 3 and 4-0s. But look, I know Bournemouth are a good team. I'm not stupid. I've been watching football all my life, and I knew they were a decent team and hard to beat. But I can't help it. It just comes out of my mouth, Chris.
To be fair, Jim, I don't think anyone expected that game against Bournemouth for us to turn up and play like we did. I don't think anyone saw that come in.
Look, I don't fly off the handle. I said to Kate, look, I'm not worried about that. It's one game. You know, Frank has sorted it out. He's at the beginning of his stage with these players. He's learning the players are learning him. We've had new players coming in. We're playing with other players. So a performance like that, if it comes in now and again, we shouldn't all melt down, you know, and Frank out and this player's this and this player's that. It's just football, right? But I am a real firm believer that you will not get 2 games like that in close succession. I just don't think it'll happen under Frank. I think he's too shrewd. And he's too tactically astute for that to happen. I just don't think it underage. Look, I predicted us to win every game last season, right? But you knew with Ainge that if there was a bad game, that next game it could be even worse. I mean, we went all the way down to London. I don't know how many times last season to watch Tottenham, and did we see them win, Kate? No.
Once, but I can't remember it was against. Yeah.
I don't remember.
In fact, no, I don't think we did see. Oh, yeah, we did. We saw them beat Everton.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was 3-0, wasn't it? Yeah. I just think under Frank, you won't get that. I'm convinced. I've got so much faith in this guy. I think this guy is a proper manager, and he is exactly the right fit for us. And I think that we're going to do well this season.
If Spurs can win the next 2, which are both winnable, and I get your point about Dr. Tottenham. We've been there so many times before, haven't we?
I think you can forget all that now.
So many times.
I think all these Spursy, Dr. Tottenham and all that, I think that's all gone now under this manager. I don't think we'll have any of that now.
You know,
I really hope I don't have to clip that up after Saturday night against Wolves.
bad record against them as well, especially at home.
I know.
He had a bad record against West Ham as well.
But if you could, if Spurs can win, Spurs can win the next 2 games. You go into the international break, played 7 with 16 points. What a platform to build for for the season. If you're going after a top 5 place, you're putting yourself in a really good place, aren't you? Again, I know it's early, but it's
Wolves, by the way, are in an absolute mess. They remind me a lot of Tottenham, maybe last season. They're absolute. Oh, sorry, muted myself back. They hate their owners. It's really weird what's happened there. I know a little bit because my family support Wolves, so I do listen out for what happens to them. They came in, their owners did really well to lift them from League One at the time, I think. Invested in loads of good players you've seen over the years, and they've all gone, and they've not replaced them with anyone any decent. I mean, you'd be hard pushed to make an argument for Wolves not being relegated at the moment, I think.
With West Ham and Forest.
Yeah, possibly. That would be a hell of a season, wouldn't it? I mean, I've got a soft spot for Wolves for as I just said, but I mean, we should be winning. Look, I said, like I said earlier in the podcast, I said end of October we'd be in the top 4, and it's because of games like this that I absolutely expect us to win. But if we don't, like Jim said, if a Bournemouth performance comes in at the weekend and we did lose, I'm not too. It's so early on that I'm expecting the odd one of these now and then. And if it happens on Saturday, I'm not going to lose my mind about it. But hopefully it won't, and we'll see a gradual, steady improvement. I mean, it'll be interesting who he picks. But anyway,
Chris, it's the first time.
Sorry, Kate. I can't believe people are not talking about us being top 4 when people say top 5, top 6. You look at this. Look at this Premiership, right? Who is in this Premiership that is a lot better than us?
I don't think it's that though, Jim. I think it's
Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal.
And it's not just that though. It's about our lack of real depth, and we've got to play Champions League and Premier League week in, week out.
You take Kudus out this team, right, Jim? This is the problem. You take Kudus out this team, suddenly we've got nothing on the wings, right? Imagine Kudus picked up a hamstring injury tomorrow. We're going into games again with Odegaard and Brennan Johnson on the wing. So then when we're saying who's better than us in this league, I listen, I know the problem is, I think as fans, we look at the snapshot of right now. But let's be brutally honest. Is anyone really expecting to finish above Arsenal, City, Liverpool or Chelsea? Because I'm not. If we do, brilliant. I'm not saying I don't want to, but I think as the season goes on, squad depth, cream rises to the top, whatever phrase you want to use. I just think we need to be really careful when we start talking about top 4. I feel we're still a couple of if you lose Paulinho for a length of time, we don't have a DM. If we lose Kudus, we don't have any wingers.
You lose Mickey Van der Ven.
I think we'll cope at the back. I do. I think with the way we play, we will, but I'm talking about those areas where we don't have any cover, Lubo. Like we are back to Brennan Johnson on the right if Kudus goes down injured for a length of time. That's
why I think when we spoke about where we thought the team would finish after the transfer window, I've gone for 6th. I still think 6th is realistic. And with it, hopefully, we'll bring another Europa League at the end of next season. Which I think will probably be our first trophy under Frank, or our best chance of a first trophy, because I think the top 4 at the moment are better than us. To win a trophy, I think domestically we've got to be lucky with the draws. We've got to have home ties. We've got to hope that the clubs above us play each other, and one way or another, we can get through against maybe it's like a Bournemouth, Brighton, Palace, but it's highly unlikely.
If you say top 6, Lubo, who obviously we've got the top 4. Who are you putting in 5th?
I think Newcastle are better squad.
See, I don't think Newcastle are better than us.
I watched them today. I watched the game, Chris. They've really been affected by Isak. The German
hang on. Today's not the day to go by. If you look at today, they made. Don't get me wrong. I think he was mad for doing it. They left 7 of their first team players on the bench today.
That's the problem, though, Savva, isn't it? It's Champions League as well, so they've got the same sort of issue. But I think they've got better squad depth. I watched them play Barcelona. They should have been 4 up after half an hour. They absolutely ripped them apart. I don't think we've got the players that they've got. We might have a better manager, maybe. So we'll see how it. I think a lot of it between Newcastle and Spurs is going to come down to things like injuries.
Yeah. They have missed this sack big time. I mean, listen, the guys are what team wouldn't miss him? You know.
No, of course, but listen. I think it's going to be between Spurs and Newcastle for the 5th and 6th. But, however, football isn't always that linear, right? There's always a surprise package, whether it's a Bournemouth, whether it's a Brighton, whether it's a whoever. I think we'll know more when we get. Sorry?
Whether it's a Tottenham.
Whether it's well, listen, but we shouldn't be a surprise package. With the size of our club, we shouldn't be a surprise package like Bournemouth, right? We should be there. But my point is, I think we'll know more. Get to 12 to 15 games in, and I think you'll see who had a good start to the season because they're good and who's been consistent. So, for example, you take Palace right now. Palace don't lose games of football. If I'm not wrong, Crystal Palace have not lost a game this season, if I'm not wrong, right? Correct. So them and Liverpool are the only 2 teams not to lose.
Yeah.
Do I expect Palace to just keep not losing? No, I think they will have a run at some point where they lose games, they drop points. However, maybe it's the year where Crystal Palace have a good run. Or as they start getting deeper into the Conference League, you start to see them being affected by playing 2 games a week. So at the moment, I've got us down for 6th. And the reason I put us down for 6th is because I think it will be between 5th and 7th. So I've gone safe with 6th. And that means for me, I think if the likes of Kudus and Paulinho go down for months and months, I think we could tail off. However, if they will stay fit and we have a really great year, why not 5th? And who knows about 4th? I'm not discounting it, Jimbo. And a lot of this for me has got to do with what we do in January as well. If Tottenham can be there or thereabouts going into January and we go and sign that top left winger, that could completely change Spurs as a team for the last half a season. So I think it's too early to tell for me, but I still fancy the top 4 to be the top 4 again. I do. I know that's boring, but we'll see.
Well, I think we're in the top 4.
Be interesting next weekend. Next weekend will be interesting, won't it? Palace Liverpool. That'll be interesting to see how far Palace have come forward. And
at the end of the day, let's all be realistic. Liverpool are above everybody. Their squad is just phenomenal, you know, and they play bad and still win. So
that's it, Jim. They've nicked 4 games in the last minute.
Yeah, I mean, does it surprise me? No, it doesn't. I've watched them play every game, and I thought they don't look anything like spectacular, but they still win. You know, and that's because they're such a good squad, and they've got such strength in depth. You know, their defence maybe not as much as they would have liked, but they're them going forward. They're just so scary. It's unbelievable.
Don't all the top clubs have this habit of scoring very late in games? All of them.
Yeah, all the top clubs. Yeah, you know, and they've got the firepower to do it. That's why you can never count them out, even if there's only 30 seconds left. They've got the firepower up front. They all of a sudden they just score. So, but I do really think we're finishing the top 4 this year. I'm convinced.
Well,
I'd speak for all Spurs fans where I say we all hope you're right, Jim. When I don't predict things like top 4, people go, "Oh, you're negative." It's not that. It's just I'm just fully aware it's such a long season, and for me, as good as I think we are, as much as I trust Frank, I am so worried about Kudus going down because at the moment he's the outball, and if you lose Kudus, I don't think we've got an outball in this football club. You've got no striker capable of holding it up and no wide player capable of holding it up. So I'm
the difference between you and me, is you're a bit maybe more realistic than me. I don't look that we're going to get injuries, right, when it happens, and then I start thinking about it. But I don't look ahead and think, right, if this guy gets injured, if that guy gets injured, I never think like that, you know. And when they get injured, and then I start thinking, oh my God, maybe we won't finish as high as I thought we would. That's the way I think.
Well,
but we need that. I'd hate it if everyone thought like me. I'd hate that. You've got you saying top 4, me saying 6th. You've got people in the chat who make it sound like we're bottom of the table. So, you know, you've got a kind of, there's different.
Yeah, but Kate's quite similar to you. When I say top 4, she laughs at me when we're sitting and talking. You know,
I laugh at you all the time, Jimbo. I mean, I had us at 7th before ball was kicked, and then I said, well, I think we could actually get 5th. So I'm kind of where Savva is. I'm 5th to 7th. Look, I think the difference is we're just fans. A lot of people look a lot more into it than we do, Jimbo. We're just fans, and you particularly are just a fan that wants to see the good and wants to think, you know, you truly believe Tottenham are the best team in the world and can win everything, and that's great. It's just different opinions and how you choose to be a fan. I hope you're right. I always hope you're right. When you said 3-0 to Spurs against Brighton, I was praying you'd be right. But you're just a very optimistic person.
I think we're going to win every competition, including
That's
the
what I
Champions
mean.
League. People look at me and they think that I'm absolutely off my head, right? But I think to myself, we're in that competition, right? We're in it, so we can win it. So why can't we win it?
It's just different ways of coping with Tottenham. You cope with it in a way that you want to go into every game with the hope and joy that we're going to do well. There's nothing wrong with that. I think others, I'm not going to mention any names, others have just been a little bit more battered down by the disappointment. So that they go the other way and go, well, if I don't expect anything, then anything good is a bonus, right?
This is the first time I've met you, Chris, and I can tell you have got severe PTSD about Spurs. It stands out a mile.
I just think in the Champions League, right, if we get through the group stage, which I fully expect us to, you're playing one-off games. Why can't you win them?
You can.
It's completely different when you're playing one-off games. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You turn up on the day, right? You can win that game. It's as simple as that. It's not like you're going to play a team that is like you're a League 4 team and their Premiership. No, they're not that difference. Like when we played PSG, everyone expected us to get slaughtered, and yet we took to draw. If we'd have had a better bench, we would have beat them for sure.
Jim, looking at Spurs the way you do, would you say it's been character building over the course of your life?
Definitely.
Okay. I'll just come back to your point, Kate. As a season ticket holder, I'm still in counselling from what I had to watch last season. So
that's what I mean.
Very much PTSD.
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Listen, I hope that Jim is 100% nail on the head with every opinion. We all
want you to be right. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know how scarred we are after the last 2 seasons? Every game now I tick off. Great, no injuries.
Yeah.
I'm the same, but every game I tick off and go, great, no Ange. That's how I finish the game.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think that Jim's got a point in terms of, you know, when you look at this league, I think, you know, I've got to factor in that I didn't think Villa would be this poor. Now, obviously, it's only 5 games, but they are 3 points, so they're already 7 points off us. Now, obviously, that can get swallowed up by Spurs losing 3 in a row. I don't think that's going to happen, but other than that, I do make you right, Jim. I don't think that I know we all go on about the quality of the Premier League. I'll be honest, I don't think outside of the top 4, I don't think there's too many top teams to worry about.
Even the top 4, Savva, right? When we play Chelsea or we play Arsenal, we beat City already, or we play Liverpool. Are we going to go into them games and are you going to think we are going to lose this game?
No. But it's not so much about that. So you're looking at it for when we play them. I'm just looking at it from where they're going to finish in the league. It's all well and good. Look, we could beat all of them this season, right? But
the squad depth they have as well.
Yeah, the squad depth those clubs have as they get further into competitions and the know-how, right? And like, you know, we all laugh and go, oh, we're above Man City right now. Look at Man City last year, right? Man City were the worst I'd seen them. I think what was it, like 14 games without a win or something. And then between, if I'm not wrong, between January the 2nd, somebody might correct me on this stat, it's like between January the 2nd and the end of the season, no one picked up more points than Man City, something like that.
That was like Liverpool a few seasons ago. They looked like they were going to get nowhere near the top 4, and then they went on a run of like something like 10 or 12 games and ended up in the top 4, where they were right down the table all season, and they went on a massive run.
It's interesting.
Look, I just think we're a team. If we can keep our players fit, we can beat anyone on our day, and I just really believe that. And I think under this manager, we've got a massive chance. Tactically, he will work out how to play against these teams. So I think
Jim, I think
they're not the games that define where you finish, right? Let's be brutally honest.
We don't beat them teams, Savva, so that's going to help massively.
No, of course. But I think the point is where Spurs have messed up in years gone by. It isn't always against the bigger teams, is it? It's about those games where we should win, right? They're the games where we go in and go, well, this is 3 points, and then you get to the end and go, how on earth have we been beaten by Leicester City? Right, for example, do you know what I mean? So for me, I think if we can sort that out and beat all the teams we should, listen, I'm not saying we can't finish in the top 4. I still think we're a couple of players short and a couple of injuries away. So for me, it's a very fine line, Jim, between 4th and 5th and 6th. I think it's a fine line, but we'll see.
I agree. I just think we have got enough with this manager and these players, if we can keep them fit, to get up there and over the line. I really do.
Jim, that's the key, keep them fit. I mean, you look at, for me, the squad is stronger than it has been for some time. And when I say that, I mean the drop-offs between first 11 and the next 6 or 7 down is much less than it has been for many, many years.
Yeah.
Much less. You know, you've got...
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
you've got 3 fullbacks that for me are very good. They're all of a similar ability. I think out of the 3, Porro is technically well clear as the best, but not the best defender. I think Spence is the best defender, and I think Udogie is the best attacker out of the 3. They've all got a different skill set. If Danso comes in,
Chris's face. Chris, I was fingering the way you did. I don't know what this is based on, Chris. I don't know about you, but I keep hearing he's the better attacker. I've seen nothing in 2 years in a Spurs shirt that substantiates that opinion.
I like Udogie. I think going forward, I like him.
That's not what I said. Okay, but going forward, you can like him. But there's no, do you admit there's no evidence over 2 years that shows he's good going forward? Like there's no goals, there's no assists. He's good, but what's the?
I don't know. Listen,
do you see what I mean? There's got to be something, Lubo.
Stats don't always give you the true answer, do you? You will admit that Ginola never scored 18 goals in a season, but you will admit, but I think we all can say that Ginola's better than Brennan Johnson. So stats don't always tell the truth.
First and foremost, never, ever, 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 ever again, ever, if you want to come on this show again, Lubo, put David Ginola, one of the greatest players to have played for this football club, in the same bracket as Destiny Udogie. And secondly...
Sorry, who? No,
Destiny Udogie.
Sorry, it shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as who?
Ginola.
Udogie.
No, I'm talking about Ginola and Johnson.
Oh, that's all right.
Even worse. Never, ever put those 2 in the same bracket again. And secondly, I'm not saying stats are everything because I don't believe they're everything, but there has to, okay, let me position it differently for you. If we're not going down the route of stats, fine. Give me your argument then away from stats that he's good going forward.
Listen, that's how I see him. That's how I've seen Udogie when he's played. I mean, the first 10 games, I thought before he got the sending off against Chelsea, I thought he was excellent. I really do. I think that for me, that was his best run of games since he joined. You know, he was bought by Conte to be a wing back. listen, it's football subjective. We all see football differently. We all see players differently. That's the beauty of football. We've all got different opinions. If we didn't, it would be boring. It would just be an echo chamber.
Of course.
Lubo, can I just make one quick point on that? Just, I don't want to throw in a little grenade, but it's really interesting that you're really tolerant about how we can watch the same thing and view players differently. But when it comes to a referee decision, you don't accept that at all, right? Two people come watch it, and there have to be consistency all the time.
No,
I find it interesting. Football fan.
I'm very aware. Listen, players make mistakes through a game. Referees make mistakes through a game. There are very, very obvious ones that really piss me off that referees make, or not so much now, but the guys up in Stockley Park, because a referee will see things instantly, and it's like, flash of a whatever split second, and they can get it wrong. The guys in Stockley Park, I think, have just made a complete balls up for the last few years. I honestly think a lot of decisions they have made have been really poor. And to me,
I think.
Do you know what, Chris? I'd have you've got a fourth official on the touchline. You've got a monitor. Forget Stockley Park. Get a referee across. If there's any
problem with that is you need a video operator to be able to manipulate all the camera angles and stuff.
Well, then
anyway, I don't think we'll do the referee in another day.
Yeah. For me, how did VAR not go back? Richarlison's lying on the ground. He's just been kneed in the back. Why didn't VAR go back and see the tackle on Richarlison before Brighton's first goal? To me, we all saw him go through the back of him. Everybody saw it, but the referee didn't see it, and VAR didn't see it, and the goal was given. So for me,
Lobo, let's say Richarlison's on the floor. Oh, we're used to that. He's always on the floor.
That's the problem. That's the problem. If he didn't go down so much, but if you're running and you're up with play, and these refs are bloody fit, Jim. They are really fit for their age. If you're that close to the play, you see a player hit another player with his knee in the back. You can't. How do you miss it? How do you miss something like that? The guy's gone up and he's gone straight into him with his knee. I just don't understand. We all saw it from where we were, and we were 50 yards back. So
the problem, well, just 2 points quickly. First of all, sort of Jim alludes to it. If you throw yourself down like a sack of shit every 2 minutes, then the referee is forced into judgments of how much is that contact meaningful? How much is he throwing him down? The players are always trying to cheat, right? So that's one thing.
I'll go with that, Chris. I understand that.
On VAR, very quickly as well, we can talk about it forever, but they're not there to look at a decision and go, I disagree with the ref. They're only there to fix the absolute howlers, right? And you will find more and more now, I think, where it's just a physical contact. And if the referees had a good view of it, they'll just go with the referee's view, because it's there to fix the handball on the line that isn't a penalty. It's there to fix the fact that someone punched somebody in the face, or it was a penalty when someone dived and there's no contact. Yeah. And we don't see any of those things anymore. So it does fix that. The physical contact ones, they'll just stay out of it, generally.
Chris, the problem I've got with this whole thing about VAR just being there for clear and obvious, they don't have clear and obvious in rugby. They don't have clear and obvious in cricket, and they don't have clear and obvious in.
They do in cricket, though, really, don't they?
They don't. It is. No. Well, again, that's wrong, because if a guy's out, he's out. And
umpires call it this for LBW because they can't be certain, right? So they defer to the on-field umpire.
Listen. Sometimes you can't. You genuinely can't see if something's a false or not. But
you get it. So you'd go mental in cricket, because the Hawkeye will show you that it's clipping the wicket, and we'll go with the umpire's decision, which was not out.
No, we see it. We see it in test matches.
Your mind.
Chris, we see it in test matches, don't we?
It happens all the time, right?
It's wrong. If the ball's clipping the wicket, it's out. How can it not be out?
Not, because there's a degree of error within the Hawkeye that they can't be certain. So that's the best guess, but there's a margin of error.
What's this, Cricket Heritage TV? What a shit sport you two are talking about at the moment. How bloody boring is cricket? Anyway, listen, guys, I am going to wrap up the show now. I'm going to do some super chats and absolutely to Ellie say, Ginola, never, ever, ever mention his name with Brennan Johnson. Even worse. Yeah, absolutely. Lubo, honestly, he has some shocking takes.
I was making a point about stats. That was a fair point, wasn't it?
No, absolutely not.
You disagree. You disagree that stats don't mean anything because
you've got to remember
that Johnson and Johnson scored 18 goals last season. So
okay, but Lubo, if we want to do that, if we want to go down that route, we can then start talking about the positions on the pitch they play in, the teams that they played in, the era that they played in. Are you telling me now if David Ginola played on the left side of a Tottenham front three that he wouldn't be scoring goals after goal, getting assist after assist?
Well, I hope his stats will be better than what they were for us.
Hang on, but he played in a 4-4-2 in an absolutely shit show of a Tottenham team, right? We were finishing bottom half. He played 4-4-2 and he was the only good player, him and Campbell, were the only two good players in the entire team.
Did he not play with Ferdinand? Did he not play with Les?
He did.
I mean, but
he wasn't the same Les Ferdinand.
We got the old Les for anyway. Listen, I'm going to end the show. Cricket, by the way. God, never do that to me.
Mr. Again. Cowlin never lets his shows talk about cricket, mate.
No, exactly. He keeps it on topic.
Right, guys, big up to Tottenham Trev's football talk. Big up, Trev. Hope you're well, my man. He said, evening, 3 areas to work on. Goalkeeper, striker, left winger. Tell you what, I'm going to add a fourth into that, Trev, before the new goalkeeper. I still think, and Lubo knows what I'm going to say, we need a ball-playing number 8 next season. We've got to get somebody on the ball, the next level up from Bentancur for me, who gets on the ball and controls a game. That's my own opinion, but I agree with the rest of you, Trev. Thank you very much for that. Very generous again, Trev, coming back in and saying every game's difficult and different, but this manager is getting the tactics right with what he has inherited. I've no idea what they saw in the Aussie. Oh my God, absolutely. But we won't talk about the Aussie, but absolutely. I'm so happy that he's not here. And I'm sure Wolfie's very happy that he's at Nottingham Forest. So big up to you, Trev. Really appreciate that, my man. And Aris in Australia just giving a super sticker as well. Thank you very much. You're always very generous, Aris. Listen, please get over to Kate and Jim and Kate and subscribe to The Perfect Match. If anyone would be so kind to put the link in the chat, that'd be amazing. Subscribe to Lubo over at the Spurs 5. Please subscribe to my channel. We've been really poor today. Only 3 new subscribers and not that many likes. So please smash those buttons. I'm going to send you over now. There's not many content creators actually on, to be honest with you. I did try to redirect to Last Word on Spurs. However, I'm not set as permissions to redirect to them. So I'd have to ask Ricky to do that. He's live, so he probably won't respond. I'm going to send you over to Dan Potts, Football's 12th Man podcast, superb content creator for his This Is London show. So about all of the London clubs. Please, when you get over there, say Savva Raid, smash the like button, subscribe to him. Dan Potts is a top guy, honestly, a brilliant, brilliant guy and a superb content creator. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Lubo. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for all the cricket talk. It was exhilarating. Thank you for putting Brennan Johnson and David Ginola in the same sentence. And this will be the last time you all see Lubo on my channel. Last thing I'll mention, Tuesday from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. I have a 10-hour charity special. Can't do 24 hours anymore. Can't do 20 for Caldwell Children. It's a really good charity, and I'm going to explain about that more tomorrow. But please save a few pennies to donate to that. Take care. Much love, and as always, come on, you Spurs.